reserved for bidders. Also
I'm
bidders.
okay, take.
And
Okay.
we would like to know more about quantity survey.
Yes,
So,
okay.
what are the roles and responsibility of being a QS?
Okay. QS, okay, our titles, I mean, we call it quantity surveyors, so it doesn't mean we are work on just the quantity, we also survey. Okay, so quantities, in terms of quantities, our main roles when people asking, we will say, okay, we measure the quantities for the building materials and all those things, but we are not going to the extent, we are measuring like brick walls, like the paintings and the structures and all those things. But we are not measuring to how many bags of cement, how many bags of sands and all those things. We are measuring in meters square and I mean the volumes and the areas and all those things. Okay, our main roles we are surveying on the quantity, and the other roles is which is very important also in the project is on the cost estimations. Okay, we are measuring the quantities in order for us to quantify what's the cost of that materials, I mean of a project. So for quantity surveyor, we will do a taking off on the quantity, then we do survey. What we need survey is we need to know the market price of all the materials and all those things, and we do an estimate on what's all this. We'll do the timing of the quantities and the rates. Then we'll have the project costs. Of course, it's not just the materials. There's also cost for the labors, administrations, and other things. Yeah. So this is just a brief on what's generally what's a quantity survey do. That is on the portions of the costing. So in terms of the works, we have the quantity, the survey, and actually sometimes we also act like a lawyers, okay? Because we also prepare contract documents. Because the documents we prepare the contract, we have the form of contract and all those things. So we will basically have the knowledge of the construction laws and the contract acts and all those things. Yeah, that is our general roles of a QS. But we have involved in the construction from the estimate stage up to the final account, where's the completion of a project. Yeah.
Okay, so can you tell us more about the qualification and requirements for being a QS?
Okay, actually, I think you all knows. I mean, we have the course in the government university, and also we have in the private college and also private U. So basically, you can take a diploma or degrees course, and then you will enter into a consultant firm. Or actually, for QS, we can actually involve in three main role. There will be developer. Developer is the people who develop the projects, and they will be the one who gives the money to do the project. Okay, that's the developer. And then the second one is the consultant firm, which is like our firm. Okay, our firm is purely do consulting, QS consultings. Okay, of course we call ourselves cost consultants. I mean, we have other roles also. Our office, there will be project managers and M&E roles as well. So that is the second one. And the third one would be contractor. So as a QS, you can work for a developer, consultants, or a contractors. Yeah. So this is the main three firm you can go in. But as a fresh, from my experience, what I will tell you is for a fresh grad to go to before your grad, you will have the chance to go for intern. So then you will be. I think that's a must for you to go to the consultant firm, because a consultant firm will tell you what exactly a QS should do and what exactly a QS can do for the developer, and what exactly you can do for a contractor, because you know your roles. Because a consultant is actually just like a middleman. We have to be professionals, because we cannot those developer is the one who pays us money, but we have to act impartial because we are professional. So we have to act fair to the developer and also to the contractor. Yeah. So I think that's generally how you after graduate how a QS can go. Maybe just now we have actually skipped through really what's a real QS role. Okay. I'll let you know. Okay, basically from a starting of a project, say a developer wants to develop a project, they'll start off with how they say say your dad have a big money, they want to develop a land. So what they can do is, okay, they'll come to a QS, they'll say, QS, can you help me? Maybe I want to develop office building, office tower. So as a QS, we will do initial estimate, which we call feasibility studies. Okay, we will do a survey based on our experience, our data. We will do a cost per area on how many levels they need, and then we will consider some of the land costs, the administration costs, the contribution fees, and all those things. That is for the initial, which is feasibility study. After we have a feasibility studies, we will come to a budget. We will tell you, okay, Mr. Client, what's the the figure from the feasibility study is, okay, so and so, this much of amount. If the developer say, okay, it seems like within my budgets for investment, then okay, fine. Then we proceed to a more detailed stage. Then they'll get a designer to be in. Maybe initially they have a designer, but the designer have yet go to the details, draw out the layout and all those things. So after the first C is approved, so-called approved, then we will go through a cost plan stage, which is another more detailed cost estimate, which is cost plan. Then the designer will draw out, okay, say based on the budget, they want to build like 20 stories offices. Then they will draw layouts, and there will be elevation sections and all those things. Then they will pass their drawing to QS. So as QS, we will do our quantities part. Okay, our quantity rows will do a taking off of the areas and the floor areas and floor finishes, what type of floor finishes and how much and all those things. Then the price. Then there will be another set of estimate. Just now is the feasibility studies. Now it's on our cost plan. So cost plan, we have a more proper drawing, and we have to do a approximate taking off. Then we have another cost, okay, which may be different from the previous. Okay, it can be it normally will become lower lah. Okay, because that is our max budget we get from the clients. Then we have a cost, okay, based on the layout and all those things. So that's the cost plan. So when the cost plan, if the cost plan can meet the client budget, and of course in the cost plan we have a lot of estimate, just like what I told you all, we have a role of architects and engineer, because at this stage sometimes the designer do not know what they need or what they can do with the cost we give to them. So we will make assumption based, because I have prepared a feasibility study based on my cost per area. So my basis of cost per area, maybe I use a floor tiles instead of timber. So that time is when we tell the designer what we have allowed for. Maybe if they want to change any of it, then we'll price accordingly. Okay, that's more detailed cost, that's cost plan. So if the cost plan is approved, which is within the client budget, then we will subsequently go to then the architects and the engineer, they will go through a detailed drawings already. This detailed drawing, which should be firm, normally firm, which is the design should have, okay, I have one floor with 2 units, then it's 2 units. Okay, cannot be like suddenly previously I do cost plan is 2 units, now we can have 4 units or whatever, because the more partitions inside, the more items in the cost is also kind of high. So that is when there are detailed drawings, then we have VQ. VQ is where the design is, I would say, 90% firm, but of course for current fast track project, sometimes the design may not be firm, but for us, if for ideal project, then there should be a firm desires on that. So we will prepare a BQ, okay? BQ is bill of quantities, which is where we'll go on tendering. Okay, so when we have a detailed drawing, then we will prepare a BQ. BQ, you will see, oh, just now I already prepared the cost plan, so I have the quantities and all those things. Why can't I use that thing? No, because the cost plan, there might be slightly difference in terms of layout, slightly difference. They may be different a lot as well. There's a possibility it's different a lot. So that's why I told you all, QS will continue to do. Okay, same. The architect actually the same. They develop this kind of set A drawings. Then when we come to BQ, they will have more ideas, they will have more inputs, there will be more details. Okay, so QS also we will develop our things more details. So now we will prepare the BQs. Okay, when we prepare the BQs, then here come my role as a lawyer. Okay, that's the funny part. Okay, when we have the BQ drawing in more details, then we'll do a detail takeoff. Detail takeoff means detail measurements. Then we'll measure the floor areas to identify the floor finishes and the wall finishes and ceilings, measure columns, measure the beam slab and everything. Okay, then we'll prepare a document which we call BQ. Which we have a bill. I mean all the bill which we call BQ, but the whole document is called a tender document. Okay, this is the time when we will prepare our documents where there will be clauses on what type of form they need to use, the form of contract. It's just like you sign a contract with people, because the tender documents will issue to the tenderers, which is the contractor. So you want people to build a building for you. You can go to one person if you know that person so well, they will not cheat you and all those things. You can just give to them and price it. Okay, the purpose of the BQ is one is for the tendering, the other is for the cost to come up. Because you want a person to help you to develop a project, you of course you want to know what's the price. Okay, you can't be saying you build just like the previous China Outback or just you build for me a 2-story house Then they at last they give you I mean you may agree upon a price, but if you are developing a 20-story building, you can't be doing that. Okay, and then you will want a maximum profit for yourself. So of course you will go to tender 1, 2, 3, 4. You will select a few person, whoever interested to do your job, and then you give to the documents to them. Okay, in the documents there will be bills, BQ, the bills of quantity, and then we will give them the drawings, which issued by the architects, the engineers, and also the M&E engineers and all those things, and together with our bills with quantity. And then inside there will be also amendments and all the clauses. Okay, the form of contract and all those things. Because you will have to tell people, if you do my job, what type of payment terms and how we will administer your works and all those things, which is a contract. So that time we'll go into prepare all this, which is the tender document. Okay, when we have the tender documents, then we will call tender. Okay, call tender is okay. I have contractors. Say I have 5 contractors. I issue the same set of documents and the drawing to them, and then they will do the pricing. Okay. Okay. When they do the pricing, after that we will give them the timeline. It cannot be like, oh, you submit 2 weeks, 3 weeks. We have to be fair to everybody, so there will be a tendering period, and then during the tendering period, while the contractor is pricing, as a QS, we also do pricing. We price on our documents, because that pricing is all the estimate. Now we have details of the actual quantities and all those things. So we will do a pricing, because at the end of the day, we will compare our pricing and the tender's A, B, C, D. Okay? When closing tender, we will have contractor A, B, C, D, and then we will compare against ours. That time we will do our tender report. Okay? Tender report. Tender report is to tell the client, say, Mr. Client, you have contractor A, B, C, D. Okay, contractor B have priced the lowest at this price, and then contractor D has priced the highest, and what's their difference? We will do some analysis on all the pricing, Okay? So we'll pass the tender report, we'll submit the tender report to the client, and the client will have a look on our testing. Okay? Of course, for developer, mainly they are concerned about the cost. So when come, okay, this tender is okay within their budget, and maybe there are 2% within their budget, and then they will go on technical submission, because the tenders need submit some technical spec, what type of materials. I mean, there are certain brand, they use different system or whatever. That's also part of the evaluation. Of course, for the M&E part, normally done by the M&E engineer. We do not do their part. Okay, QS, most of the time is just do architecture and structure. Okay, but that is not a must. Sometimes our service include M&E, then we have to do evaluation for the M&E portion as well. So after the contract being awarded, QS, what will QS do? QS will do the interim valuation. So what's that mean? So that is our another roles in the post-contract. When award, we call it a post-contract. Those stage, the estimate, the BQ, or we call pre-contract. Okay, for post-contract, QS will do the interim valuation. Okay, according to the PAM form, it's supposed to be done by it's supposed interim certificates will be issued by the architect. But actually, who do the things? Actually, all the thing is done by QS. Okay, QS will prepare, will go to the site, will look at the progress, and they'll certify. It shouldn't be used certified. We will make recommendations on what's the percentage of the work done. Say my foundations, okay, I've done 20%. So when I go to the site, the contractor then 30%, then I'll check, okay, how much. We'll check the quantum of the work, okay, and it's not we go and measure lah, okay. It's just okay. Say they have given us a layout of. We have the layout of the foundation. Then we will see, okay, roughly how many portions of the work. Say I have 10 pile caps. They have completed 3, so it's 30% lah. So it's like that kind of. That's a simple way for you all to understand. Of course, it's not that easy that it's just 3 and 2. Okay. Okay. So we will go through the site valuation. Okay, that's monthly. Then do the valuation. Then after the valuation, we will come back office and we will prepare our interim valuation recommendation. Okay, that is the time we recommend to the architect. Okay, Mr. Architect, I have recommended you these valuations of this work done for this substructure is how much, and then this item, all this is how much. So we make recommendation to the architect. Okay, the architect will then issue the certificates, and then only the client will make payment based on the certificates. Okay, so our roles is important because we have to be fair to both parties, because we have to be the eye for the clients to check the work done. Okay, and we have to be fair to the contractor because they have to do what they need to do. You cannot be, I want to help my client save money this month, so I pay less. Cannot. Okay, we have to make sure the work is paid accordingly. Okay, that's the roles of QS during post contract. That's the monthly role. In between, we will do variations because there will be changes. Of course, there will be changes. So we will do variation, which is the changes to the layout or whatever changes. Then, because whatever changes, we'll agree with the contractors, and then we will firm up, and then we'll sign off, and then we'll add into the payment. Okay, because you cannot say your rooms have 3 toilets. Okay, 3 WC. Suddenly you change, we got 4 toilets. We have 4 WC. So we have to tell the clients there's additional 1. So the additional 1 is the variations, and then I'll pay the contractor accordingly when it's agreed. Okay, that's a role of QS. So when it's come to post contract, in between we'll do valuations and variations. Okay, this is the 2 important things. Then at the end of the project, we'll do final account based on the variation, which is when everything completed, when everybody, the architects and all those things, they have completed their things, and then the construction have come to the top, everything is fine, the certificates of practical completion are issued, QS will do what? QS will prepare the final account. because there's a lot of variations, and we'll have to check and then go through the thing and then finalize the figure, because it can be 100 million become 120, or it can be 100 million become 90 million, okay, based on the changes. So when the work completed, QS will still have to do work in finance account. Okay, if you are a very excellent QS, you do progressively, then doing the finance account you have less work, because in between you have completed your variation, then you just compile and then prepare the final account. Okay, only after the final account done, and then the final certificates can only be issued after the defect reliability period over. Defect reliability period is the time where the contractor is given, because there will be some guarantee, just like you buy a car, there will be some warranty period, the same. Okay, building also the same, there will be maybe 2 years or 1 year. Okay, then after that period only we'll do a final cert. After the final cert issued, then only end the QS job.
So what softwares are usually used by the QS?
Okay, actually outside they have a lot of software which can be used by QS, but for our office we have our in-house software, which is basically designed and created by our IT team. Actually in our company we have our IT team. So we are using, currently our office is using Atlas Pro for BQ measurements. Yeah. That one also we can use for the post contract. Okay, that is Atlas Pro which we use, because the software have been created with description. So when we prepare BQ, we need to have the quantity and description. So we will type in all our measurements inside, and then we will prepare the BQs based on our in-house software Atlas Pro. Other than that, for the measurements drawings, we will use the CAD measure, which the architect will normally use the AutoCAD, and then for QS we will have CAD measure. Okay, we will capture we will do our measurements based on the AutoCAD drawing, and we use this CAD measure drawing to measure the areas and all those quantity, and then our in-house software will link to this CAD measure, and then they will transfer the quantity over. That's for our measurement. Of course, currently we also trying to use their measurements software like So Easy. Okay, the software is called So Easy. Okay, don't be dumb. For me personally, I think that is not easy. Okay, that software is called So Easy, and then we also have Golden software also for measurements. Okay, outside as I know, they will use BuildSoft, and some of them may use Excel. Okay, Excel, just the Excel, normal Excel, Microsoft Excel. But of course, the Excel is just to prepare the BQ, it's not really for the measurements. So that's the thing, the software we use.
Okay, so that's all for our interview, and thank you for your time.
Yeah, okay.